different setting today for Mornings with Martin, brought to you by Ohatchee Discount Foods. We're in the backside of Coach's house due to some wind blowing. Coach brought
Still got water?
Hey, he can't escape water, man. Even when he come up to firing off with, he was.
Well, that's in his contract.
That's right. You put me. That's right. When we did firing off, we were on the water too.
That's right.
Hey, look, I'm good with that.
Dude, hey, it was written up in his rider contract.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Here's the deal, man. Last week you played another 10-1 team, another very good football team, and actually had a very impressive win, 54-27 over Winfield. Take us back to last Friday night and that game and that atmosphere.
Well, I thought it was. I thought our guys came out and performed well. Obviously, we had 4 possessions in the first half. We scored on those 4 possessions. Came out in the first possession of the second half, scored on it. We seem to do better when we're on defense first from an offensive standpoint. I don't know why, but the guys came out and played well, and we got up on them pretty good. I think it was 40-7, and then put our young guys in. Obviously, trying to once you get up at that point, you're trying to save. But the one thing about playoffs, it doesn't matter what the score is. Those guys are going to play hard to the very end, because if you're not going to win the game, it's your last game. And so those guys played hard, closed it back to 40-20. We got, our guys back in the game, got a couple more touchdowns, and then shut it down. But I thought our guys gave a complete performance the other night, and I was real proud of them. But, in playoff football, it doesn't matter. It's about getting a victory, even if it's by 1 point, because one team goes on and the other team's through for the year. So I was excited that our guys were able to get to that next step.
How excited was your guys to come back home after such a grueling road trip you had the week before to Lauderdale County?
Well, we played a home game on 9/11, and then we did not play another home game until the other night. So that's
9/11.
9/11. So we're going September 11th to October 11th to November 13th. We were over 2 months away from playing at home. The only home game we had scheduled on that backside was Mumford. And we played that over at JSU. So that was kind of a crazy thing. And I think, I'm trying to think on that week, because we played Piedmont on the road. We came back and we had Pleasant Valley on the road. Weaver was on the road. Mumford was back at home. And we played that at JSU, so we ended up not really we hadn't played too many home games. And so it was nice to be able to come back home and play.
Oh, for your fans, it's got to be special.
It is. We hadn't played at home in a long time, so it was important to come back and get to play there.
How awesome was it for you to see your guys execute like they did early like that? Like you said, to get some young guys in, coming off a grueling game like you had the week before, to get out there and get a little bit of a cushion and get some of your other guys in.
Well, it was important. I mean, it's all, at this point in the playoffs, everybody's going to piece their guys together. When you get down to the final 4 teams in the North, which, there's 4 great football teams there and 4 teams in the South. Everybody, you're now going into game 13. There's a lot of bumps and bruises that you're having to manufacture through, and it's amazing those kids are able to do what they do.
100%. One thing special about the state of Alabama, you guys all get together on on Saturday mornings and go down. How's that been so far? And I know
Man, that's great. I enjoy going down there. All those guys, I know a lot of those guys personally, and some of them I don't know as much, but I've known Paul now for about 6 years over at Fife, and I enjoy just going to talk to him and also listening to him, because he's a character. And like I said yesterday on my social post, we're friends forever, adversaries this week, but friends forever. And he's such a kind, fun guy to be around. I really admire him.
Yeah, that was my next question, was getting to talk to him, and he is a funny dude, and especially when you ain't no camera rolling, you just sitting there talking with him. He says some funny stuff.
I always tell everybody, Benefield on camera is different than Benefield off camera.
Well, he's a close to the vest guy. He's an old school coach like I am. I probably put a little bit. Well, I know I put a lot more out there social media wise than he does, but we have a lot of the same beliefs. Obviously our programs are built similar. They've had, just like I said earlier today, just an unbelievable amount of success over there, since he's been there. And it's not a 1-year deal. It's not I'm running through this set of kids. He's been able to do it for 20 plus years over and over and over again. And it's probably one of the most impressive things I've seen in any state at any level to be able to win like they've won.
Having them come in this week, it's a tremendous opportunity for you. And I know your fans are ready, and everybody always, last year everybody was talking about the matchup. It did get to happen, but this year having Fife come in, like you said, Coach, there's no bad teams left at this point in the playoffs, but having them come to your place, how special is that going to be, and what kind of atmosphere do you expect?
I mean, it'll be a great atmosphere like it is on the Creek Bank. Our fans are very passionate fans. They'll say things they probably shouldn't say, but one thing is our kids and our program have nothing but utmost respect for the people that we're playing every week, but especially Fife. I mean, they've earned that respect, and it's going to be an exciting time for the two teams to get together. We've been fortunate enough. We've been able to deflect the Fife Ohatchee matchup because all everybody's talking about is the Fife Piedmont matchup. So I'm just glad to not be the focal point, every week, because you end up having to fend that off so much during the year. And the reality of it is you got to have your kids focused on the game at hand. And and so I'm proud that our kids have been able to. After our early season loss to Welborn, that our kids have been able to play each game for what it means. And, now we're coming to the next game. And again, we've got a monumental task ahead of us. And it's going to be what a challenge for our kids and our program.
Playing a team that's literally like a mirror image of yourself, from a coaching standpoint, is that harder to defend? Do you start overthinking things? Or how is that for you this week?
Well, I think that both teams, come into a game. I don't think there ain't too many tricks in the trade at this point. I mean, the teams that are winning are the teams that execute what they do the best. And so, I'm not saying you don't have wrinkles in here or there, but the bottom line is you don't run wrinkles the whole game. Most of the time you're going to be close to the vest and you're going to do what you do, and you're going to put it up against what they do, and the best team comes out. And right now it's been kind of it's going to be different because when we look at it on film, and I'm the kind of guy, I was just telling my wife earlier, I'm the kind of guy that when I play on Friday, I've got to have all day Saturday to decompress from the night before. I can't just delve in and jump into the video of the next guy or even the game the night before. I'll take a 24-hour and decompress. And I told y'all earlier I slept about 12 hours last night. So, now I get up this morning and it's over with. Now we're on to the next opponent, and I'm looking forward to seeing them on video. I've seen very little of them, but what I have seen has been extremely impressive. And but they do a lot of the same things we do. They wrinkle it a little bit different sometimes, or package it a little bit different sometimes. But offensively and defensively, we're very similar as far as the schemes that we run. Players are different. I mean, this could be arguably one of the best teams that he's ever had. And I know people talk about the transition of Fife coming from AA to 3A, but we did the same thing. We came from AA to 3A. And transition-wise, I knew that they were going to have a senior-laden football team, and it didn't matter what class they were in. They could go to 4A and be competitive all the way deep into 4A. So it's not surprising to me, and it's not surprising to other coaches. Maybe it's surprising to the news media. Maybe it's surprising to the general public. But guys that know football and guys that coach football, what you're seeing right now out of Fife High School is not surprising.
Right. Something that I know both of you guys have. You both have dynamic quarterbacks. Both of you have steady running games, really good offensive lines, but you both have tenacious defenses. I think it's going to come down to a game of execution between you two guys. But what are some of the things that you have to get done in order to win this game from an execution standpoint? And like if I was to ask you next Sunday morning, hey, we had to have this done and we did this or not, what's some of the things you got to have done?
Well, I mean, sure, it's the same thing, that they're looking at on the other side is I think that limiting the possessions, because I think, their defense is very tenacious. So we've got to find a way to be able to hold on to the football at some point and keep their offense off the field because they're very explosive offensively. Both teams have that characteristic of having, one or two, three guys on offense that can take it, the distance. But from a defensive standpoint, both teams have played extremely well. So is it going to be a limited possession game, or is it going to be defenses forcing everybody to punt all night? It's going to be interesting to see how the game plays out because I think it's a game that's different from what either team has had to play so far this year. And like I said, if you go out and you turn the ball over or you give up big special team plays, then in a game like this, those are magnified so much bigger and can be a turning point in the game for either team. And so it's important that you're solid in all three phases, especially this week.
So this playoff run, you played Lauderdale County, Winfield, and those are two teams that are not close in distance, really. With Fife, you've got a lot of these players know the other players and have probably played against them. Now there is absolutely no chance of you keeping the fans calm on social media this week or at the game. How do you keep the players calm and just get them to play their game?
Well, we talk about that all the time. I always think social media is for the fans anyway, and unfortunately, you'll have fans that get out and say things that are detrimental or might be something that other teams can use. But coaches are smarter than that. I mean, they know who's saying what. Our players don't get on social media and try to antagonize the other team. I mean, our goal is to go out there and be focused in practice every day, and we're out there playing for that group of guys that are on that field. And unfortunately, people on both sides always say stuff. But to be honest with you, I mean, Fife's been there a lot. I mean, this is an annual run for these guys. They're very seasoned in what they do. I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish, but we hadn't reached the level that those guys have reached. And it's going to be a heck of a football Friday night just to be in that atmosphere. And, we're looking forward to having that opportunity, and we'll just see where it goes.
Well, Coach, we're going to shut this one down. Good luck to you Friday. I know you guys will be ready as always. I can't even imagine what your fans – that's going to be one of the most rabid places in the state, I promise you, this Friday.
Well, our fans, like I said from the beginning, our fans are very passionate. And, I know the state always encourages you when you have these big games to play them at bigger venues so more people can attend. But you know what? It's going to be televised on FNN through the National Federation Network. If I even contemplated moving that game, my fans would hang me from one of those goals. I mean, that was never a thought.
Oh, yeah.
And I talked to Paul yesterday, and it was the same thing. He said, heck, if this game was at 5, it'd be at 5.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't go, we owe it to our fans to have the opportunity to be able to play a home game against a great opponent. And, when you get this far in the playoffs, they're all great. And so we're just looking forward to having the opportunity. And I know our fans will be out in masses, just like I know the Red Devil fans will be out in masses. It ought to be a great atmosphere for a high school football game.
Coach, we will see you Friday. I think there's a ton of us, almost all of us average Joes will be at that one, minus maybe one or two.
Well, y'all are all diverse right now. You got, one's been following us, one's been following Fife Bo, and then Tara, I know is tight over there. Her dad, Coach
Piedmont.
Blanchard, over at Piedmont. So it's funny that 3 of those teams are in the Final Four. So there is some diversity there, and I'm sure there's a lot of stress at average Joes. Right?
There's a little bit of tension.
Yeah, it's little short, snappy comments.
But this is what makes high school football fun because all these teams have had great years, and no matter how you finish, somebody's always disappointed.
Right.
Somebody's always hurting, somebody's always crying, somebody's always just at the end of the year, it's always a finality, and whether you're in the state championship game and you lose, or you lose in the semis, or you lose in the quarters. In the ultimate end, one team's going to be on top. One, right. out of all the teams that started the playoffs. So, I think you have to take it in for what it is and enjoy each game for what it is. And we just hope that we're going to go out there and it's going to be a great football game. That's what I'm looking for.
That's right. Josh, you have anything?
No, not. We'll
Josh
say it on social media.
Josh won't talk to me this week.
Well. Look, I understand. I mean, I see you on social media over there. So, but you know what? That's what makes this game great. And it's kind of given us a sense of normalcy coming back into, with all the stuff going on in the pandemic. One thing's been consistent. That's been Alabama high school football, and I've been appreciative. And where we thought we'd never play 3 games, we're now going into our 13th game. So that says a lot about the AHSAA and the way that the coaches at all these different schools have handled it. And COVID problems have been at a minimum, and we're just fortunate to be able to play Week 13.
That has been a blessing
Yes.
beyond. I mean, it takes, like right now, instead of us sitting around doom and gloom, we're
That's
sitting here
right.
talking about the beauty of football
Sure,
and playoff football.
exactly.
Coach, thank you so much, and we will see you Friday night.
All right, appreciate it.